Mark kept banging on about Quorn.
Yeah.
Oh God, he kept banging on and on and on. I said, Mark, I'm not with Quorn. I says, you know, it's not for me. I know, in all due respect to the chairman, he'd not got on with previous managers, and if I walk in there, it'd be like 2 fireworks.
And they'd just been relegated.
And they'd just been relegated.
And they'd finished, I mean, bottom doesn't describe it.
Yeah.
We beat them 8-0 away that season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And anyway, he kept going on Mark. And he says, look, Mark says, look, you know, you've got to go and meet him. Otherwise, you won't get the job. I says, oh, God. So I went and we had a chat. And I laid a few things down saying, this can't happen. I'll be with you for 1 season, get you back up.
Yeah.
Then I'm off. And that will be it. So we went, I think we lost 2 games by Christmas.
Yeah, you were top of the league.
Top
right?
of, running away.
You were flying, I remember.
Yeah, in the Vars, in the Cups. Very noisy on Twitter in them days. I've got a lot of respect for Lee and Turner and Joe, who's took over at Quorn now, because they played for me. And Stuart is Liam's granddad.
Well, they've just had a fantastic season.
Absolutely, and I'm so pleased for them. So I'm not going to dig old dirt. Look, me and Stuart didn't see eye to eye. Let's just say that. And I walked.
So you walked?
And
left them top of the league.
Left them top of the league. And then finally got me 4 months break.
And you ended up still in Leicestershire at your next club.
Loughborough, nice club.
Yeah,
nice
I
people.
always like going there.
Nice people. Frank, lovely chairman. And I enjoyed my time there.
Similar to Carlton, I always thought. In that they nice setup. They just struggled to get people to go and watch.
Yeah, it was. It was. You know, and you got Beachy, Daz, lovely people, nice pitch.
Oh, really, really good pitch.
And it was nice to be out of the way of the Nottingham limelight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. At that stage, I was aware of Colville. And Mick Jordan was a good friend of mine. And he'd been banging on for a couple of years about Colville. You know.
And certainly at that time, they were on the rise. They were just come up from step 5 to step 4.
So what happened to them? Adam, my dad.
Yeah.
Great manager, Adam Stevens. And they'd had perhaps 2-3 years, but didn't get over the line.
Yeah.
Didn't win it, the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
When I met Glyn, he said, look, we want you. You know, he says, but I said, well, what do you want? He says, top 5. I said, have you got the budget? He says, yeah. I said, okay then. And I think they were second from bottom. We come in about November and we finished 10th.
Yeah.
And then we recruited that summer. Troker, Lee Tor.
Yeah.
Aaron Newton, Liam Walsh, Nat, Brad Munn. Some side that was.
Yeah.
We'd basically finished 3rd, but we was in the playoffs we knew we was in them 5 weeks previous.
Yeah.
It was Stafford Rangers, Shaw Lane, and it was basically that broke away.
Yeah.
Baseford had climbed in about 5th or 4th.
Yeah.
And driving the chairman mad because we kept playing the strongest side. And he's going ballistic, you know, we're losing that. And I said, look, momentum. You need momentum going into the playoffs. And Nat nearly got sent off in the 1 game before it, as that does.
Yeah.
So obviously Mark's with me. You know, this is how, by then, 3rd role as manager and assistant, Baseford at our place.
That's the year you played Baseford.
Yeah.
So, I know what's coming now. Then.
Yeah. And I think we're 3-0 up after 15 minutes.
Yeah, was it 5-0?
Yeah, 5-0, 5-1. And it was a proper battering,
you
know. But fair play to Baseford, it was their, I think, first year in there, second maybe.
It was, they were in that division 3 years. So, it was either first or second.
Yeah.
It was the 3rd year they went and won it.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, it was Shaw Lane in the final, who were the Mega Bucks.
Yeah.
Craig Elliott, now Bradford Park Avenue manager.
Yeah.
And in fact, the last game we played at home, we played Stafford Rangers, and they needed a point, and it was 1-1, and Neil Kitchen was the manager of Stafford, and I went up to shake his hand, be like 30 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And he went, don't do it yet. And we got a corner. I went to Bolsey, up you go. He went, what are you doing, you madman? And Bolsey hit the bar. So in that moment,
Yeah.
and Neil says, "Are you taking it?" And I wasn't taking the piss.
No.
I really thought it was over,
Yeah.
but my instinct said, "Bowlesy, get up."
Yeah.
You know,
Of course, you want to win the game.
So we did that, and then so Stafford went up, won the trophy on our pitch, which was all I like Neil, and then we got Shaw Lane in the final at Shaw Lane, Barnsley.
Yeah.
And we had a plan basically because we'd watched them in the week, and me and Mark said, "Look, if we're 0-0 or 1-0 down at half time, we'll run over these. They've got no energy. They're an aging side. We just need to make sure we're in the game." And then we were 1-0 down at half time. Oh, Jared was off. He was going ballistic because just sit down there. You know, love Jared to bits, but I said, "You knew the plan. This is what we're going to do." And then in a minute, Nat scored. Smithson scored. I think Brad scored or Chokey or whatever. And we romped him. You know, we really overran him that. And got promotion from step 4 to
step 3. And then did well at step 3.
I think so. I think if you say...
Because there is a big gap, isn't there?
If you say, honestly, your best couple of years and the most toughest was that because we're suddenly a top 5 budget side at step 4 to having 15 teams above us at step 3. And trust me, Glyn was a fantastic chairman and he'd back us all he could. But yeah, I mean, I think 6 games to go, we were safe. We'd done well in the Cups. And then the second year, similar, perhaps a few more games to spare, we were safe. Got to the Cup final, beat South Shields away on a Thursday night to reach that final.
Yeah.
And look, I loved every minute at Colville. Great chairman, great people. It felt fitting to win the playoffs after I'd been through a difficult period with Hucknall and Quorn. You know, so it felt fitting to say, "Hey, we're still here. You know, we haven't gone away." It's. I
always got the impression, Tommy, at Hucknall when you were the manager there, when we played it, and at Colville in particular when you were the manager there, that you had. It seemed to me from the outside a similar relationship with the fans there as the ones that you do here. And
absolutely,
you got on well with them. They got on well with you.
They're the most important people at the club: fans, volunteers. I've always said to anybody who works for me, coaching staff, you go and thank the volunteers. You mingle with the supporters. It means so much, and it's just such a little thing to do. But I do it because I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I really, really enjoy being with you all. And to me, if the fans had to come on board as they have done, I probably wouldn't be here now. You made such a difference to this club.
The mingling with the fans, I remember that from that first game, from the league game. Coming in the bar, Steve who brought me down. We're going for a beer afterwards.
Yeah.
Because the manager comes and speaks to the fans.
Absolutely,
That's what he said.
It's dead easy to go, look, you've lost or you've won.
Yeah.
Both are the same imposters, trust me.
Yeah.
You're either high as a kite or low as a skunk. You've got to deal with it. But when you're in that bar, don't just sit in a corner on your own. Go and, are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you all right? And just go and chat with different people. And you find that if you've lost, you'll pick up very quickly, because supporters have another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they talk nonsense, especially when they've had a few. But I love that, and I love characters as well. I love characters, and we've got plenty of characters here. Yeah. And so finished at Colville.
So how did that end then at Colville? Did you just leave?
No, I got an offer from Baseford, Chris Munro.
Yeah.
Emailed me with an offer to go in as director of football, and I thought, you know what, I was 50 odd then.
Yeah,
I'd had a right all at it, Yeah, and on paper it looked a great move for me because it's something I've always fancied.
Okay,
and I'm happy to do either or. And I honestly, at that stage, 100% had no plans to manage again. That offer was good from Chris. I spoke to Glyn. We wished each other well. Still one of my best friends, Glyn, the chairman, great chairman, Luke, his son. It worked out well for them because Grantham had a problem and they got Adam back, who was the local boy at Colville, which you can't get better than that.
No.
I was never going to top Adam. I could have won 20 trophies, but I'm not from Colville. You know, he's literally on the doorstep. I'm a Notts lad. And so went to work at Basford. I'd always got on with Gandhi and Cliff. I've got no issues with them. And
so they had no concerns about you coming in.
Not that I know.
Football.
Not that I know.
No.
But I don't think I was told everything anyway. But anyway, I went in, helped them get some good players like KP, Nat, and a few others, Bates. You know, just generally helped them. It just didn't work out. It wasn't for me what was said on the tin. And if I'm not having an impact somewhere within a football club, I'm not going to just stay there for a few quid. You know, I want to make a difference, make a change. It was a bad year because I lost my mum. And I just thought, I need to be around people who care about me. You know, and I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying it was a tough year. It's one of them things in life. It could have either been the best thing that ever happened to me, or just don't work out. And you go, okay, so didn't work out. And then Mick, you know.
So how did that come about then? The return to Carlton Town, which was completely out of the blue for as far as we were concerned, in the middle of 2019.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was very touch and go.
Yeah.
Mark had been out of the game for a year. I'd obviously had the year at Basford. I knew I was going to go back and manage somewhere because I felt as well I got a point to prove. So look, I'll come and meet you. And we met. So you just have to give me a bit of time, you know. And spoke to my wife, spoke to my sister. They didn't want me going through the mill again.
Okay.
You know, of pressure or whatever. You know, they thought that step 3, you start to put yourself out there again. But I wanted to put myself out there again. They convinced me to get back somewhere where you're regarded.
Yeah.
The memories of me are still at this club, and you'll be loved and you'll have no pressure. And so spoke to the other clubs. That was on the Friday. Spoke to Mick Friday afternoon. Says, yeah, look, I'm coming back. We didn't know Mark was coming back then. He'd not made his mind up.
Okay.
On the way to the ground, Mark phoned me. He'd gone to meet Long Eaton, and he said, I'll come with you, Tom.